What is up? Welcome to Etsy Jam. In this episode, we talk with Toni from UnderTheVeil. Toni is a singer, seamstress, and Etsy seller extraordinaire. She talks with us about selling on eBay before Etsy was a thing, her live handmade boutique, legal issues with copying by one of the largest wedding companies in the world, and her pivot from aprons to weddings to teaching. And, as we sometimes do, the pre-conversation for this jam rolled right into the actual jam conversation. So hold on to your hats because we're going to drop you right into it. Enjoy.
So I love Marmalade.
Thanks.
I don't know how you guys came up with this, but I don't know how long it took me so long to find it. And I don't know, I try to keep my email pretty, like, as brief as possible, but I've been on Etsy since 2009.
Yeah.
So I actually migrated over as an eBay power seller. I was doing handmade stuff on eBay, which is like the Walmart of the internet.
I know, I saw that in your note. I was like,
it's
that's
like
a great way to
the
describe
internet.
it.
Yeah, you're like explaining the value of what you have on eBay, unless it's like, something that people are bid warring on. That's like the only way to really, so it was just like handmade items, and people were just like, where's my stuff in 2 days, so
Yeah.
a friend of mine was like, yeah, you got to check out Etsy. And I was just like, meh, because she was not an entrepreneur. Like she's like renting a spot in my place where I had like other handmade people renting spots and doing things on our main street and stuff. And so she wasn't really an entrepreneur, and we had some fashion shows, and I was like, oh, I have a real weird thing about not taking advice from people who aren't doing better than me. So I didn't do it for a long time, but then I saw that she was having success and not doing anything, just like making stuff and listening. So I was like, well, maybe I'll try it. And it took me like another, I think 2 years before I was finally fed up with like the eBay demographics, where I was like, I got to find my dream customers, and they were all on Etsy. And, I don't know, how long have you guys been on Etsy, or have you been familiar with it?
We've been on it. I mean, we've been using it for quite a while, but Marmalead's been around for 2-3 years now, something like that.
Yeah, that's crazy that I just found it.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. But Etsy was like a free-for-all, right? When it first started, it was a total free-for-all. There was no SEO. Like coming over from eBay and knowing all the different SEO tactics, when I applied them to my Etsy, it didn't work. It just would not work because people on Etsy were just totally different than everywhere else. It's totally different. I mean, it really was. And so I would flip flop back and forth to like doing the SEO, and then I would run, like, now we call them split tests, but when I was doing it, they weren't even, I would just like duplicate a listing and see which one did better. And so it was just like that. And I just felt like, just shooting in the dark over and over and over again. I was shooting in the dark. And then finally, like, I got scared because after I was done doing the rock and roll thing, I hardly did anything. I didn't do advertising. I didn't do anything, but my shop would just crank in the money steadily every month. And then once a week, I would make the wedding veils and ship them out and go back to whatever I was doing. And so when January, February came and Etsy and Google did all this algorithm, all these changes were taking place, I didn't know what was going on. And then I was going on YouTube, finding people that had posted videos like a year and a half ago. And then not thinking, I'm like, okay, I'll try this. And then my shop was like tanking. And it was like tanking over and over again. So I'm like, So I had I call my Steppenwolf money. I had some Steppenwolf money left over. And so I opened a boutique in our downtown area. It was crazy. I went down there to see if this lady wanted to carry my line again, and she was gone, and it was empty. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is like, it's connected to a hotel, and they do all, it's just across the street from the convention center, and it's next to like a Deli Delicious. So it's just like this crazy spot, $600 a month. So I would say it's mine, and I was like, within 24 hours, I had the key, and I was like, oh my gosh, because I was really worried that the Etsy thing wasn't going to work. And so, and it was, I started to figure out like, okay, well, all the brick and mortar stores are like trying to pick up the pieces, trying to follow all these online stores. Yeah. And I'm going backwards, and I was like, oh God. So I went back to the drawing board. Well, you guys know what ClickFunnels is? You familiar with ClickFunnels? Yeah. ClickFunnels, Russell Brunson. So I got a hold of that, and I was like, we're going to try this. And in looking at that, I was like, okay, I'm going to start a thing where, like, my daughter's going away, and I don't really want to sew for the rest of my life. I've been doing it for like 20 years. So, I need like a new dream. And so I was like, I'm going to teach people how to do music. And then I was like, that's not really it. I'll teach people how to perform. No. And then I was like, well, this Etsy thing is why I was able to do all this crazy stuff. And then so I was like, I'm going to teach people. Then I started to get really like convicted, I guess, because I was like, man, I can't be my exit strategy to sign people up for something that was not working properly for me, you know? So I was like, I can't be like signing people up for this, and yeah, this is awesome, but like I'm trying to get the heck out of it because it's not enough for me anymore. And so I was like, oh no, like I can't do this. So I was like, I have to fix what's not working on my end, and then I feel okay about bringing other people into it. And that's when I found Marmalade. I think it was I stumbled onto Joanna first, and then I stumbled onto I think Starla more. And then from there, my YouTube, I think, started to learn what I was searching for. And then the orange popped up. And then I'm going, what's that? You know, what is this? Yeah. And then I watched, I think it was one of your guys, somebody had a whiteboard, and you were just going through the whole Etsy thing and the SEO. And it was like, yeah, well, we created this marmalade and this marmalade and this marmalade. I'm like, what are they talking about? So then I started searching, and it took me like, it was like literally less than 3 minutes. You know, I was like, I'll check out the free version. I just got my credit card out and was like, yeah, this is it. You know, and then I told my husband, like, look at this. And I've been showing everybody that does Etsy, like, you're not going to believe this. And because I have 250 listings. Yeah. So, I mean, you know, I go in and I pull like 5 listings a day from Marmalade, and I go on Etsy and I work on them, you know, so it's like been a slow transition, but it's literally tripled the revenue stream. And then just being able to pull the proper customers in, my conversion went from 10 to 30%, which is a huge, huge. Plus I sell wedding bills like $800. I sell them for like $120, $150. Not for long, but I do now. And so it's, I guess it's like, it's good, but I mean, it was like, it was just crazy. I'm like, it saved not only my internet business, but it saved my brick and mortar business, because my Etsy business pays the rent. The brick and mortar. The brick and mortar is like, it's just a place for me to sew and do all my Etsy stuff. It's a pretty small boutique, but it's good. Like right now I'm doing tit towels. I don't know if you guys know about these Tata towels that are going crazy. So
we just saw them on your shop.
Facebook.
We literally
I've been trying to find, I've been looking for something small, and I worked at Victoria's Secret, and I've been looking for something small so it doesn't take a lot of fabric and it's easy to sew and I can just crank them out. And I saw that, and I, of course, doing all this ClickFunnels stuff. So they teach you how to, basically I was doing it before, but now I really honed it in how to like funnel hack someone else's Facebook funnel and their Etsy funnel and everything, and just like kind of just put my lemonade stand right next to their lemonade stand and just get some of the traffic that's already flowing through. Yeah. But I had to hire somebody to start sewing for me, and it went, it's crazy. I sold too many tit towels. So like I did a giveaway and people were just flowing into my shop downtown, and I'm like, okay, that's enough. So they're really easy and fast to make, but I was like, there's no way I'll be able to make all these. So I had to hire somebody. So
yeah.
It's crazy.
Wow. It's crazy. It sounds like a whirlwind.
It is. And I love it now when like I list something and I run over to Marmalade and I go, does it have an A+? And if it has an A+, I'm like, yes, like I'm getting it, you know, so I run back and forth. If I'm listing something new, I want to make sure it has an A+ on Marmalade, you know. I love it. I love it so much. So anybody who's, even my friends that do, like I have a couple friends that have vintage stores that they want to start doing their stuff on Etsy and they don't know how. And I've gotten to a point where, and you guys probably have ran into this too, where I can't do it for anybody anymore, because I feel like you do everything and they don't implement it because they didn't pay for it. Yeah. You know, like, people pay attention. And so that's why I started the Etsy Cafe, because I had a friend who, same thing. I went into her shop and I just optimized the whole thing, you know, and she was talented and there's no reason that she couldn't make it work. And she lived like 45 minutes from the Los Angeles garment district. I live 3 hours, and I think if you live within like 4 or 5 hours of the Los Angeles garment district, whatever business you have, you can make it work, you know? If I was living in middle America, I would be thinking, God, if I could just get 3 hours from the LA garment district, I could make it work as a fashion designer. And I'm like, here I am, like just over the hill, you know? So at one point I was like, my dad moved to South Dakota, and then I went to visit him, and they're talking about, you know, and I was starting to think like, wow, what if I was like raised in this place? I would be thinking if I could just get 3 minutes, like if I could just get somewhere near LA, I could totally make it happen. And here I am, like, you know, like I always say, like, like I'm like an hour and 15 minutes from Hollywood. So I'm an hour and 15 minutes from like the stars wake up looking like crap every morning, and they put their pants on one leg at a time, just like the rest of us. You know, like people still, where I live too, it's weird. People get starstruck still. And I'm like, these people shop at the same grocery stores as us. Like, you know, that's crazy. But so it was like one of those things where it was like, wow, you know, and I helped her get her shop, and I took her shopping in the garment district, and I traveled, did the whole thing. And at Christmas time, she calls me like, oh, I'm so, I don't have any money and the bills, and it's so hard to make it in LA. And I'm like, what's up with that Etsy shop? And she had just like a ton of chargebacks from items that she sold, never checked her emails, never did anything, never filled the orders, and then the PayPal, of course, just. But I was like, man, like I just screwed over a bunch of Etsy shoppers. Like people bought Christmas gifts for their kids, and then you didn't make them, and they probably had. I'm just like, now I'm like the bad, and I'm like doing something that's not right because I'm giving something to people and then they aren't valuing it because they didn't pay for it. So I had to start. We're like, I have to start. Even when I was starting the school, I'm like, okay, I need to do this for one person now, other than myself. Come, I'll do it for free. And then it was just like the same thing. It was the same thing with people. So I was just like, I love artists, but you frustrate me. Like if I was any more artistic, I would not have any business sense. So I'm glad I'm not a very creative person. I'm more of like an innovative person. I was telling my husband last night because of Etsy and everything. It's just been like so crazy. It just changed my life. There was a point where I never saw her at all when I was working. I was a college career counselor after I had to get a career. And it was like, I never saw her. It was so crazy. So I'm so fortunate to like, even though I'm like, I feel like she never felt like I had enough time. But I don't know if kids ever feel that way. I don't know if they ever feel like they're loved enough and have enough time until they get older and they're looking back.
I think it's when you get older. Yeah. That when you start to look back and really appreciate the time,
Yeah. Yeah. And then she's been able to work with me. So she's been able to, over the past 6 months, like see me work. And then she worked with me on the Steppenwolf show that we did. So she got to really see me like, the music industry is a nightmare. And that is the #1 most difficult band to book. They hold the record for lawsuits suing themselves, suing their production companies, suing everybody. So we were on like lawsuit alert the entire time. So she got to see me do that. And and she sold raffle tickets. She raised like $3,000 and she was my little entrepreneur. Yeah, she was so good.
That's awesome.
But because I think it's like, because I've always worked from home, it was different for her to see me like step out of that realm and do it. But I quickly ran the whole time I was doing that, and I was making more money than ever. The whole time I was just like, this is why, because just being a female in the music industry, I'm just like, this is why I want to sew wedding bells for my dining room table. Like I can make all this money from my dining room table. I do not need to be treated this way. This is a little bit crazy, So it's just like, you kind of just like, you just whatever. I wasn't alone, but it was, I've also left Etsy and tried to go open a shop on Shopify before. And I very quickly ran back to Etsy with my tail between my legs. Like, okay, well, we're going to figure this Etsy thing out.
Just kidding, guys. We're still friends, right?
Yeah. Sorry about everything I said. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Here I am. I'm back. I closed that other thing, I closed it, I'm sorry. I downloaded was the CSV file. I don't mean it. I told my husband, I was like, I think they use that button. I don't really think they want people to be like downloading their listings to import into other platforms. I think that's just a button that tells them how many people are thinking about leaving.
Maybe. Yeah.
If I was Etsy, I would have been watching that button too during that time because a lot of people were like, what's going on? Everything's changing. And, you go and you try to look, to find, and all you find is like a bunch of people like complaining. And then a whole bunch of people that don't know what they're doing. And then I was like, out of it all, I was like, wait a minute, what's this orange glimmer of light over here? And then I found Marmalade. I was like, this is it, and God, I can't believe it's been around that long. That blows my mind. Because I do the YouTube thing and But like I said, I was totally just like MIA for an entire like year and a half doing. I want to get into it, man. My husband and I had a lot of fun. Like we spent an entire year having a ton of fun. Like I said, we played the Viper Room and it was crazy. I went to Hollywood. It was just, we did the whole rock star thing. It was a lot of fun.
So
but I was definitely on autopilot.
Was that before college career counselor or after?
No, I got, it's a crazy story. I married my high school sweetheart and then put him through medical school. But I was like the deca dork and cheerleader and all this in high school. But my family was like, he has to go to college first. So I sent him to college and then he left me for the charge nurse at the hospital. And then she got pregnant. And then so I became a displaced housewife. Fun. And while my ex-husband was in college, he had an affair with his English teacher. And the dean of the college worked at a different college that I was applying for a receptionist position, and they knew who I was and they recognized my name. I had Greek last name. So they recognized my name. They knew who I was, and they knew my story that had happened. And how I became like a displaced housewife. And so they just took me in this college. They were called Golden State. Now they're Milan. It's cosmetology, massage, business, computer, whatever.
Okay.
So they took me in because he was the dean of faculty at the time. So he was that teacher's boss. And so he just felt partially responsible for me being displaced. I guess he was like a church pastor and stuff. He was really nice. He was Russell Swartz. He was amazing. And he just took me in. He was like, you have a lot of potential. And I feel like, this is partially my fault. And he's like, you could have sued that. You could have been set for life if you had sued that college. And he was like, but you didn't. And he's like, I want to give you a chance. So they trained me. And then I did that for like 3.5 years. And that was when I never saw my daughter. It was horrible. I was working at the college in Fresno, and then my daughter was going to school in a different city, Tulare, or we were living in Tulare, and then she was going to school in Vice Lake. So it was like 3 different cities involved, and it was just a nightmare. And so I got fired from my job at the college. Funny story. And then it was just a really weird. I tell this story to people. It's so strange. I don't know how my TV got on. I don't watch TBN. And, I was up at night. I think I was painting or doing something artistic that I hadn't been able to do in years because I've been slaving away to this college. And this ladies came on TBN, and they had been making like prayer boxes that looked like people would send them a picture of their house, and then they would make little prayer boxes that looked like the people's houses. And then the family would put the prayer boxes in, and then they get together once a week and they would do all these prayers. And so it was this really cool idea. And then they were like, if you feel like you have a gift or you're talented or that you have something you give back and you want more time to spend with your kids and your family and you want to supplement and, just pray and ask God to show you what you can do. And I was like, okay, yeah. So I got like halfway through the prayer before it bounced into my head that I'd already had this idea. And that was my aprons. So that's how I actually got famous doing sewing. Was I made these aprons, and it came to me in a dream. And I was a housewife. I was looking for a sexy apron, and I could not find one. And I really scoured everywhere. And so I had it like in a dream because I had been thinking about it. And then I decided to make my first one, and it sold within 24 hours. And no one was making sexy aprons. And I mean, nobody was doing it. And so then Dennis Rodman's best friend bought one from me, and she was in magazines and calendars and everywhere. And there's pictures like her, Dennis Rodman, she's wearing my apron, and then all these people. Yeah. And so it just like, boom, it took off. And it was clear to me then, like selling on the internet was 2006. So it was really clear to me then that I probably wasn't going to ever have to go get another day again. And recently trained by the college in internet sales, because the colleges were starting to go into like internet courses. So I had been recently trained in like really fresh internet sales courses. So this was one of the photo shoots. This is I don't know who this baseball player is. I forget. He's a famous Major League Baseball player, and that's his wife. And she did this whole photo shoot for him when he came back. And here in the town where I live, and I didn't blow this up, they did this bit on me on the front page of the lifestyle section because my aprons had blown up on all over the world. They had blown up. So they did this, and it was crazy because my family was going crazy. And like my family's calling me like, you're a paper star and all this stuff. And I was like, 3:00 in the afternoon, I gotta go out and like buy the newspaper that I must go get a newspaper. So I just met my husband at the time. But I have to tell you that my apron sales slowed down like super crazy. I did not know, and I found out through Marmalade that they're being called, these types of aprons like this are called something else now. I would not have known that without Marmalade. They're being called pinafores.
Say what?
That's what I did. Huh? And I was like, okay. So I added it in, and they're selling again, just like that, because my main customers are in the UK. And so, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So I would have never have known that if it wasn't for Marmalade, I swear. I was like, pinafore, that's like the apron the Alice in Wonderland wears, which is more like how mine is. But I have never heard that before. Supposed to be an apron expert, never heard it. So
yeah.
So that's really good. The international keywords. I would have never even thought of that.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. You found that, right?
Yeah.
You could have just been like, I guess it's over. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't like, the aprons are crazy. I make them because people want them and love them so much. But if I don't sell them very often, I'm okay with it, because I do the wedding stuff. It's all white, and then I have to clear everything out and do all this black stuff, make a huge mess, and then clear it all out again just to bring the wedding stuff out. So it's like two different two totally different
Yeah.
production lines.
Well, and I would
But
guess that the aprons are a bit more like labor intensive too, as far as the actual sewing goes.
the aprons,
Yeah.
yes, they're just a lot of cutting and stuff. Like with the wedding
Yeah.
veil, I cut everything with electric shears, and it's really really fast, and it goes on a little comb, and then you send it off. But the aprons are like, I make everything: the ruffles, the panels. I make them like a dress pattern, so they're form flattering, so they have darts and all this crazy stuff. Yeah, and I sell them for really inexpensive. So and I just do that now just because I don't know. I guess I want to. I'm not sure. I always say I'm gonna raise them, and people are always like, "Why don't you raise them?" I'm like, I will. And the other day, someone was like, "Can you get this to me by this weekend?" And I was like, "Sure," but I have a $50 rush fee right now because I do wedding stuff. And she's like, "Cool, I'll send it right now."
Nice.
Just like $100 for an apron. I was like, "Okay." So I was really happy to make it. But
So talk about that transition a little bit from, with the aprons kind of being your main product to
and then
more wedding stuff now. And your shop is called UnderTheVeil, which we hadn't mentioned
right,
that yet.
right, Under the Veil.
How
And it used
how
to
did that
be World
transition
Famous
go?
Aprons. I changed the name. It used to be World
Okay.
Famous Aprons. The transition was difficult because, like I said, it was I wanted to stop making the aprons kind of early. And when you look at like how much of your income is coming in on a product, it's scary to think that you're gonna like wipe it out. But
Yeah.
it took me 2 years total, I think. And like I said, sometimes I still sell the aprons, but mainly I don't anymore. But it was equal at one point. And so it took like 2 years total for me to decide I'm going to start tapping the bridal industry. And and then Etsy is just like, you hardly have to advertise if you do weddings because Etsy's so big for weddings.
Yeah.
And so so I just started that. Well, my husband and I got married, and then it was like, wow, what a ripoff this is for people, and I just wanted to offer something different. I'm just like, this is like the wedding industrial complex, I was like, this is crazy. And so I was like, wow, I mean, this costs like very little to make, and people are selling it at like a 300% increase. I can just do, I could just take a small chunk and be happy. So I started doing that, and it took a long time to learn how to do the wedding, just the wedding industry in general. But once I fine tuned it, it was like slowly I could start moving the aprons out. But the aprons, I would say it was easier for me. And if someone's looking to transition into something, to pick something that somehow you can integrate, like for me, I was able to kind of integrate the wedding demographic with the apron demographic because they were a big bridal item. The weddings were just Portuguese weddings. It's really big. All the women wear aprons, and it's a huge bridesmaid's gift. And then it's just a huge like housewarming gift in general. But the transitioning from back to that, the aprons into the wedding veils, I feel like it was easy. I feel like it was a lot easier than most people think it will be, because I just found something that was faster. I picked the aprons. Like I tell people, when you're looking for something to do, pick something that is fast and easy, and it's like something that's like a one size fits most, because that's what I did. I sat and I wrote down all the things that I could make and all the different problems I would have selling them with people not being in person, and that was the main thing, is people not being able to try them on. So it was something that was totally adjustable. And then I got questions like, do you sell plus size? And so then I started doing like the plus size, and even though I only sold a regular size and a plus size, I put them in all their different sizes, because people always be like, do you sell this in a medium? Do you sell this in a small? So just the work questions that were just like, I just put the sizes on there. That way people just select their size and not have to ask me questions or whatever. And so just doing like that. And then I was reading your guys' email about the variations. You guys just emailed a couple weeks ago about the variations. And I totally agree with that, because I had one apron that's my number one seller, which is the one that is in the magazine, the polka dot one. And I sell it in, and you can pick any color trim you want. So I have like 6 different listings of this apron. They're all the exact same. They have nothing is different between them except for the picture is different. But I will find, if it's the apron that has the purple trim, that when I look down at the variation, they've selected purple.
Gotcha.
So even though it's the same on all the other listings, however they saw that purple one first, they went to it. So I really feel like there's some things where variations work really well. Like with the ta-ta towel, the variations are fine. It's like whatever, people don't even care. But with the the wedding veils, the variations are really, really good, because people don't need to see every different shade of white, in a listing. But with the aprons, when it was like, this is what you're getting and this is the color trim, and it was like these bright, bold colors, like doing a duplicate listing was always the best way. I just sold one the other day that was purple, and I was like, there it is, purple. And I was thinking about you guys because I read through it and it was like to do variations or to not. And it's really one of those things where I think you have to test it out. But if it's like a bright color type of thing, I think the duplicate listings. And I think the more listings you have in your shop, the better it is. Anyways.
People have said that, yeah.
I took a bunch down that weren't selling, and I noticed the difference. So I put them all back up. Even though they don't sell or anything, you know, people just want options. Like I have my boutique, that's my physical boutique, and I have a whole wall that's just jewelry, and it's all $6. Everything's $6. And people come in, and when I had it like half stocked, when I was just getting started, people would come in, they would look, and they would be like, hey, thanks, have a nice day, and they would leave.
Yeah.
But then when I doubled it and put the rest of it in there, same people come in, it's the same jewelry, but they'll turn around and buy, you know, they'll buy the 3 for $15 or like whatever because they have options. You know, just want their options. Yeah. So
that's really cool.
I love Marmalade. I just I listen every day. I try to listen to, because I've only been on it for I think like a month, and so every day I try to listen to a new one and an old one. And well, I'm in my boutique, so I listen to. I don't listen to music because when I hear music, I want to like do music and sing music. So I don't listen to music at work. I listen to like
that,
yeah. I'm like, oh, I could play this, and before you know, I'm on my guitar and I'm on the piano, and nothing's getting done, and you know, I can make a million excuses as why music is work, and so I just don't do it. And so I listen to like Mel Robbins, and like I'll listen to different things like that, and then like the Marmalade cast, and anything that's like, you know, the SEO with Etsy and stuff like that. So I'll just listen to that all day. So what happened was I was kind of like, well, I have to fix my Etsy shop. So I went and did everything that you could possibly optimize like an Etsy shop, because I wanted to make sure what I was teaching people, you know, was working. So my Etsy shop right now is like on crack. It is insane. My phone has not stopped chinging. I had to hire somebody to come and help me. You know, I'm like, whoa. So today, one of my things today is I have to go and make my products more expensive to kind of slow it down and do the supply and demand thing. But it's crazy. I can't even explain it. It's like 3 months ago, I was freaking out trying to figure out like what I was gonna do, because like Etsy is, I don't know what's going on, and I couldn't get any answers, you know. And so now it's just like, whoa, I want to close my boutique, and I'm gonna forget this stuff, you know, because I was like ready to go to work again and all this stuff, and I thought my daughter was gonna be working in the boutique, and then she just wasn't for her, and so now I'm just like, man, I'm just gonna go back to doing the Etsy thing. But I'm not gonna let go of my my boutique. I'm turning my boutique into an Etsy training seminar, because it seats like 20 people at a time. Yeah, so I've already had people just to teach them to run the Facebook ads. I got really good watching Alex. I don't know if you know who Alex Becker is. I watch Alex Becker pretty regularly. He does a really good Facebook ad video where they just take you step by step, not just how to do it, but like the psychology behind the Facebook users and how to get them to leave their own feed and come over onto yours. Like even just making your ads look like posts. Like I do wedding stuff, so the beginning of my ad says, "Hey, I heard you're getting married." So people, like brides in their like world of everything's evolving around their wedding, they're thinking like, oh, someone heard I got married, and so they're gonna click on that. And then when they see it, they see this great offer, and then they click on the offer, and they kind of. So I've been able to funnel people into my Etsy store like that. And then the other thing is like Etsy's very strict on copyright. You know this. Yeah. You probably have found this out. Very strict. I've been in trouble. Yeah. Like, and then when I started doing the wedding thing, I knew I was onto something. I knew I was onto something when the largest bridal company in the world came after me. In the world, like armed with a team of lawyers from New York and everything. And and see, I have my husband has an Etsy shop, and I have one. And at the time, we had them both. They were transparent, but people didn't look to see if they were connected. So it was like, you know, Procter and Gamble is like pitting Tide and all against each other, but they own them both. So they would go into my shop, or they would go into my husband's shop and get like so customer service or like whatever, or they only have so much to choose from. But then they would go into mine, and it would be like super amazing. So it was just kind of a way to like get people, like scare people over into my shop, kind of, you know. And and sometimes I would be like, yeah, this is whatever, but it would always be me talking to them. And so so I was doing that stuff for a while, and totally forgot where I was going with that. Oh, so when I got in trouble with the wedding stuff, I had the same wedding stuff in my husband's shop, but they didn't go after that shop. They came after my shop because I was cranking in sales. Like, I mean, I remember walking through the LA garment district like in tears because my phone was just going crazy and I didn't know if it was going to work. You know, I just knew that I couldn't sew the aprons forever because I was getting carpal tunnel. And so I just remember being in tears going through the garment district in like 2010 or something and just being like, this is it. Like, this is my new business. Like, I'm going to be a wedding expert. And just being so excited just to help. Like I said, I sell wedding bells that are like $800. I sell them for $125. They take me like 15 minutes to make. Put it this way. I sell the rhinestones for the wedding veils by the yard. And if you buy the wedding veils, the rhinestones by the yard, you would pay the same price as if you were to have me make the wedding veil and just supply the rhinestones. Wow. Yeah, because my husband wants to start doing the supplies on Etsy Studio. Yeah, and so I told him I would get it going for him. You know, I'll list the first couple things. So I already sold 16 yards. So I was like, I always showed him, I was like, look, we sold 16 yards. I wouldn't have used that much on a wedding veil, but it doesn't matter anyways because I buy it in such a gigantic bulk from my vendor. And I was like, I could have done, I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to snip it. I'm going to wrap it in bubble wrap. I'm going to send it away and then it's going to be done. And I got a 5-star review. And I was telling him like this, because he's, you know, he doesn't want to make stuff like that. He's just an artist. And so, but he's really excited about the Etsy Studio because that's where I think everything that is supplies goes on Etsy Studio now, right?
Yeah, I think they moved everything over. Yeah.
Yeah, everything's moved over. That's what I kind of noticed. I noticed the change and all the stuff. So that was really cool to be able to do that because I think that's because before it was like you had to make stuff on Etsy, and so it's been available for a while that you can sell supplies, but it hasn't been its own platform. So that is really cool. But the veil, like just as an example of how inexpensive I'm selling the wedding veils, it's like it's almost I had to raise the prices so many times because it was almost people didn't want to buy them from me because they
didn't trust them.
Yeah, and then I got 2 separate notifications from Etsy just in the past 6 months telling me that I needed to raise my prices, that my products weren't showing up in the right quality level, like they're higher quality, and they were showing up with like stuff from China and stuff like that. So they told me you need to raise your prices because we're trying to create a uniform shopping experience for our customers. And I was like, I understand that. So I raised them, and then 2 days later I got another one saying I need to raise them again, which I didn't. Wow. But yeah, I was like, wow, that's crazy. But I know, but I sell them for inexpensive, but I have 2-week processing time, you know? So I have a long time to make them and get them out. So if I mean, to me, I don't mind making them inexpensive if I have time to make them. I don't care. You know, if it's like my leisure. And like I said, I did all that last year and I just sewed. I mean, I worked, of course you're working. If you're an entrepreneur, you're working all the time. You know, I have my snippets. So I did a lot of stuff for my snippets. I had scripts already. I've been doing snippets before they came out with snippets. I had in my Word, I would keep my Word open when I was just working before I was just doing the app, and I would just copy paste, you know, the same people ask the same questions a million times and you have the same really awesome answer and you just keep sending it. And then I do YouTube. I have a YouTube channel that's the name of my Etsy URL. I drive a ton of traffic into my shop with my YouTube channel. It's UnderTheVeil.etsy.com. That's the name of my YouTube channel. So when I look at where my traffic's coming from, almost everything that's coming from direct traffic is coming from YouTube. It's coming from my YouTube, and I do unboxing videos. So on the Etsy Cafe, I'm going to offer where people can send me their items, or we can do back and forth. People can shop back and forth with each other and do each other's open box videos, like you do in the unboxing videos. So I've been looking for people that have unboxing videos on Etsy, and I haven't found a lot of them. Which I think that's like a huge lost opportunity because when we're doing Etsy, like I think a lot of us probably spend a lot of time packaging things and making them look cute. I used to like try to save the planet and use as little stuff as possible, but I was like, I cannot save the planet because people don't want me to. They want their packaging. I used to send them like I thought they were fine. Like I would send them in like a plastic, and it would be sealed, and I would send in a package, and people would just like go crazy. And so instead of sending it in plastic, which was more expensive. I switched over doing, because that's what I went to school for, was like marketing and stuff. I switched over to tissue paper, I was like convinced that the sound of the tissue paper was going to make them feel special. And it did. It totally did. Yeah. Just hearing the tissue paper and taking the wedding veil out just made them feel like it was a gift, like it was, so that was like the main thing. Even though it's not waterproof, it doesn't protect their item. It doesn't it wasn't saving the environment. Like I was doing all this like really different stuff before, and it just people were just, they wanted to open it and then for it to be almost ready to wear.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I after fighting with it for like 2 years, I was like, no, I'm just going to have to start doing it fancy. And now I do it fancy. And so since I do it fancy, I decided to do the unboxing video. And my videos are cool, I think, because I used to do them in my garage, but now I do them like in my boutique. So it's like,
oh, nice.
Yeah. Like you go into my boutique and you can see like I'm on my, where I keep all my my bridal accessories in the case, and I'm doing the unboxing video and I'm opening it and just how it looks. And because I think a lot of people don't know what to expect. And if you can just like nip that in the butt right away, all anxiety if they don't know what's going to come, like what's it going to look like, what's it going to be, so that they just know it's going to be special, like right away, like stuff like that is like such a huge deal. And then if you do have some problems and they get back to you, they're just like, they're still kind of like tickled from the wrapping and all that type of stuff. They're like, I love it, but this or that, or whatever it is, whatever the issue is or whatever. So
when you started doing, oh sorry, I was gonna say, when you started doing the unboxing videos, you started doing them with your own products then?
Oh yes. I did them for well, I guess I had to do everything that I wanted the people that are joining Etsy Cafe to do. So I was like, I can't tell people that they should do unboxing videos and like I don't have one in my shop, or in my store, so my YouTube channel. So then I did that, and my unboxing videos got more hits than almost any of my other videos, like in a short period of time. And I think people maybe are looking into doing unboxing videos, and maybe that's why. Because as I started to look into the Etsy SEO and then just e-commerce in general and how to drive traffic, that was like one of the top 10 ways to drive traffic was to host a YouTube unboxing video. So I did it with my own product. That way people always know what they're going to get, what it's going to look like. It's not going to be smashed. It's going to be protected and in this envelope. A lot of people, they have like breakable stuff you're going to want to show. Like, this is how it's breakable. With my products, I've had it happen just a few times where someone has gone to open it up and cut the wedding veil. Yeah. Cut it, torn it, snagged it, whatever. So
kind of a nightmare.
Yeah. So this way I show them, like, this is how you open it. You slide, you split the box open and the box pops open, and then you can just take it out. You don't need to like cut it up and do all this stuff. So that for me just saved me a lot of just like shrink, I guess, just like a lot of loss. And so
are these videos too that you link from your product descriptions inside of Etsy so people can get to it from there? Gotcha.
Yeah, I have the link there, and it says, for additional questions and more information about my shops and different products, please visit my YouTube channel. I think I have 11 videos. So I have wedding veils, and then I just made like a slideshow of all the things that I make, and then I just got some free music, and I just put in like beach wedding and like some free like wedding music, beach wedding music came up. And then I just entered in my my slideshow on YouTube and then put it to the music. And I think I did one on Movie Maker because I had to upload it to, because on Etsy, on your Etsy About page, you can put that video.
Right, yeah.
So I have the slideshow video, which is just veils exclusively on Etsy.com because I only sell them on Etsy. So I have that video, and then I have that slideshow also on my YouTube channel. But right now, the most hits I'm getting on anything is the tit towel. Because I'm also it's because I went on my my statistics just to see what my demographic was, because you have the choice, you want to choose men or you want to choose women when you choose your demographic. But because I put it on and I did a free giveaway right away. So it's like 20 cents because you have to do 20 cents on Etsy, and then I did $3.99 shipping on the first one, and then I did a giveaway on Facebook just to get the momentum going, and it just went like crazy. It just went crazy. I was like, oh my gosh, I had people lined up to buy it, and they couldn't even check out because they were being purchased so fast. So
wow.
Because I was gonna do this like free plus shipping, on like Shopify, but then I was like, I don't need to do that on Shop. I can do that with my own products. So I was just kind of testing it out, because my understanding was that there are scrapers, and that the scrapers, if you do a free giveaway, if you do a free plus shipping, the scrapers will find you in a matter of minutes and then send your information to their subscribers who subscribe to free plus giveaways or whatever on the internet. So that is real. I'm positive that is real now, because it took less than 3 minutes. And like someone was like, my friend in Arkansas was like, yeah, I want to buy this. I was like, okay, I'm going to put the listing up for you. And then I text her, hey, did you have somebody else buy it? Are you buying it under somebody else's name? And she was like, no. And then more were coming in, and I was like, oh, yeah. I'm like, oh no. And then I started getting questions like, what's the lead time on this? So you like, drop ship warning. I'm like, no, because that's what was happening with my wedding veils, is people were drop shipping them and then not paying attention to the way the Etsy processing time works, with the shipping and the processing time combined. And or they would see the toggle down like scheduled to ship by, and then they would say, hey, this is said scheduled to ship by, or maybe they would forget to change their shipping address, and it would get sent to the wrong. And there's ways to check and see if people are drop shipping. One way is to look to cross-reference their credit card number with their shipping. And then I would do crazy stuff I'm not a stalker. This is like art, and I'm research and development. You know, I'm like trying to figure out what's going on with my product and my customer and what's happening. And I would find their, this is really weird, but I found the best way to link back to people's social history is to go through obituaries. So I found that if you find their, you can reference their city or state that they're in, and their area, and their name, and some of their information, and find obituaries, and then you can find family members, and then you can look into whether or not they have just been married. Because I do weddings, so I can go look at people's bridal registries and see that I've had people try to refund things that they're posted on Facebook wearing the wedding veil that they bought from me, and I'm hey, what's up with this picture?
Wow.
Like, if you didn't like it, why did you wear it? You know, like, I don't say that, but I'm like, what's up? Like, I don't sell used products. I don't have a clearance section for used veils, and so they'll get really mad, like, why are you stalking me and stuff like that. It's like, hey, you know, why are you trying to DUI me? Yeah, you're done using it on me, you know, like, you're trying to DUI me on Etsy. I made this. I hand placed the crystals for you, you know. So stuff like that. But mostly most of my, I would say like 98% of my brides, I'm like super stoked to help them. I'm just like really excited. And they're really excited by the time they find me, because they've gone through all the like $400 and $500 offers, and then they get to me, and then, you know, I'm easy to look up. I'm easy to find out what I've been doing. I work for Helena Eckhart Fine, who is one of the premier bridal designers, seamstresses in the world. And she lives here where I live. And so I sew for her. So like, it's crazy. Like, I sew the Miss California pageant dresses.
Wow.
But I'll never meet the contestants as far as they're concerned. She sewed them. You know, it's crazy. Like, I do all this stuff, and it's like, okay, you know, but I don't do as much as her, but that. So I work with her. And so it's crazy. I go in there and I see, you know, what things are going for, because she has this, you know, amazing bridal gallery. But, you know, my boutique is behind hers. So I go through a little alley, and then mine's connected to a hotel. I go to the hotel and I go in. It's a really cool setup, because we just pop back and forth. But it's different, because it's like, you know, when I'm dealing with people online, you almost can't let them know that, you know, the value of what they're getting. You kind of just have to let them find out. You can't say like, yeah, well, I know that this goes for this. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, eventually, if they get nervous about shipping times or processing, eventually they'll go and try to start shopping around other places, and then they'll find me, and they'll find out what I've been doing. They'll find out, you know, get it while you can. Like, this seamstress isn't going to be doing this very much longer on these cheap prices. So yeah.
So what are some of the ways you would compare and contrast your live boutique that you have against your Etsy shop? I'm sure there's a lot of things between the two that end up kind of being the same sort of deal, but there's probably a lot of things too that make those two things pretty different from one another. What would you highlight when you have to look at that?
They are very different, and they are very the same. I guess they're more alike than I thought. The one thing I found out, brick and mortar, internet, it doesn't matter. People want to be sold. That's the main thing that I have found, is that people want to be sold. They don't want not necessarily that they want to be like manipulated or sold a line, but they want to know what the value is. So the one thing that I use in my brick and mortar and I use in my internet shop is a system called CARE. So I did Six Sigma. I don't know if you know what Six Sigma is, but I'm Six Sigma trained. So in Six Sigma, it's all about the cause and effect and like, what you're doing in the beginning and just the synchronicity. And so one of the things that we learned and we implemented, I teach this, and I don't know if I'm like legally supposed to be reteaching it, but we'll find out. And it's CARE. It's called contact, ask questions, recommend, and encourage. And I use this on the internet and I use it in my brick and mortar. And I think that if you use this almost every time, you'll be able to close a sale correctly. So the first one is like the contact, ask questions. So contact is if you're in a brick and mortar, it's like 3 seconds or 3 feet. And 3 seconds, 3 feet. And in 3 seconds, someone's going to make up their mind of whether or not they want to do business with you. And in 3 seconds, they're going to decide whether or not you said hello to them fast enough. And if they're within 10 feet of you, you have to acknowledge them. And so when it comes to on the internet, I say hello. I do lots of like XOXO because it's Etsy. 80% of our demographic is female. So I do a lot of hugs and kisses. I do XOXO. So I'm really, I send a lot of happy faces. I say, thank you for contacting me. And the number one, and so once you've said hello, the next is to ask questions. So I never ask closed-ended questions. I always ask open-ended questions. When is your wedding? If it would be like jewelry, what are you wearing this for? Not like, is this for yourself or is this some like more where they have to open up and engage a dialogue with me? And you have to ask questions because if you don't ask the questions, how can you ever know what they need to help them? And I get irritated when I go places and I'm shopping or I'm trying to buy something and someone's trying to give me an item and like, you haven't even asked me what I need this for yet. Like, well, you don't even know what I need this for, and then even with the bridal stuff. Yeah. So this is what you need. This is the most expensive one. I promise you need it. So like, and even in the wedding industry, like you would think that every person coming through is buying a wedding veil for a wedding, right? No, sometimes it's their first communion. Sometimes it's for a funeral. Sometimes it's for prom, sometimes it's for a vow renewal. It's always different. So you have to make sure you know like what they need, or else you'd be like trying to give them advice and they're like, what's this lady talking about? It's not, she's not even listening to me. So I ask a lot of open-ended questions. One of my favorite questions that I ask people is, you get the dreaded, hey, I ordered this on this date. When is it going to make it here? And you're really, really busy. You don't have time to stop what you're doing and answer them, but they need to be answered very quickly. So my thing that I do for them is I just say, what state are you in? Thank you for contacting me. I'm definitely going to look into this. What state are you in? And that just kind of says like, I'm going to put the ball in your court now. I'm going to put the ball in your court now. And then you're going to get back to me with your answer, but you already know that I'm doing research. I'm not going to get back to you right away. You're going to answer me. And then I'm going to be doing something else, so it just kind of like on our end, we know it's probably really quick to find out, but if in the middle of a bunch of stuff, and if you're a crafter and you're got your hands full and you're trying to fill orders, you need to get that stuff done and you need to answer their questions. So it just kind of like gives them the ball to hit back to you. So now they've got something that they need to do. They need to tell you what state, and then, they know that you're going to be looking into it. So that's like a really good trick that I use to kind of subdue people while I'm busy. But on the sales portion of it, no.
Okay.
No, because I always say like, I'm real busy. I'm on my app right now and I got my hands in a wedding dress. I just do like real, like, I'm just like, my hands are full right now. And, but if you let me know what state you're in, I could probably pull your order and check it out. So it's never really backfired. No one's ever said like what state. And then also if someone says, well, I'm in like Quebec, you could be like, oh, okay. This is international shipping, you answer them or like whatever. So that is just like, I have never had that backfire on me. No, it's probably going to tomorrow now that you asked me though.
Sorry.
It's all your fault. And then I do so. Yeah, I know. Huh? That's my husband always says. So I just blame it on me. It's always my fault anyway. So I do that. I do a lot of asking questions, and I'll ask a lot of questions so that I really understand exactly what they need, and then it kind of gives you an idea of what kind of person they are. So once you've been on sales on the internet, you can like tag a person's personality. Like you just peg it so quick. You're like, okay, this is a nervous person. This person doesn't give a rip as long as they get their stuff. It's just like everybody's different. You kind of start to get a feel when you talk to them. So when I've gotten their information and I know them, that's when I start doing the recommendations. And And like on the same, it's like with Joanna, where you have to give them like specific instructions on everything to do. Like if I tell someone, just note it in your notes when you check out, 4 times out of 10, I'm going to get a cha-ching and then, oh, I'm so sorry, I forgot to add it to the notes. And then if you print an order, your personal notes don't always print, depending on how you print. Like I have an air printer, so it's different. And so then you're going, oh God, now I've got to like note the, and it's just in a streamline. Things are very streamlined. Any wrench in the gear is just like, so it has to say, enter your notes in the order notes box below your item at checkout before you submit your order. It has to be exactly what they need to do, or else. And I think because my customers too are getting married, they're just bonkers. So it's a little bit different too. But I just find a lot of people are in a hurry when they need their stuff on the internet anyways, but mine are a little extra crazy. So, but it has to be like exact in there. So when we start to get to like the recommendation stage, I start to, send pictures and recommend. It's like, then I start funneling them to my video, like go to my videos, watch all the videos. And then I almost don't want to answer any questions beyond like until they've watched the videos. Then once they've watched the videos, it's like, okay, so now that you know everything that I'm doing, then we're on the same page. Now we can work it out. Because if you have I'll have a lot of variations and a lot of different fabrics, there's like no point in me going through like a whole thing with somebody who's not even checked out yet. Yeah. So, and then one thing that I've stopped doing is samples. Unfortunately, I won't do samples anymore because people are using samples to like extort stuff, and so Etsy has rules about this and stuff like that, and you can like report Etsy abuse or do like whatever, but I'm not interested in any of that. So I just stopped taking the samples because I found, and this might be specific to my industry, I don't know, but I found like people will buy this sample because they've got, they want to know. The wedding industrial complex is crazy. Like they change the names of their colors every year, but the colors don't change. They just change the name of them so the brides are terrified to buy anything outside of the bridal shop. So so I know this, and I try to do everything. But I'll send the sample. So now they've got a purchase where they can leave a review, and they will hold that review over. Try to hold it over you, like, well, I want this, and now I want this, and now I want that. Yeah. And we'll, and then try to like, I'm like, hey, I just have gotten, and you can look at like, my reviews are crazy for the last year or so, because I just got to this place where I was like, I didn't want people abusing Etsy sellers anymore. So I just got to the point where I was like, I'm just going to take the negative review and leave a rebuttal, so people know I'm not going to put up with this crap. You're not going to bully me, cyber bully me on the internet, and then try to extort. I've had people try to extort money from me, do creative, where I'm like, this is so crazy. And then you look and they don't have a wedding, they have nothing. And so, I don't, some of this stuff I know has to do with the bridal company, because they launched an enormous campaign against Etsy. Etsy sent me an independent letter that I'm not even allowed to divulge what they told me legally. Like, that's what they told me. And so I was like, oh, wow, And so, like I said, though, I probably would have given up had they not done that. They totally, like, let me see their hand when they tipped their hand totally. Like, when I saw that, I was like, whoa, I'm really onto something if these people are coming after me. So they probably could have left me alone, and I might have fizzled out. I don't know. But so when I get to, like, the recommendation process, I go through, do you want, I'll say, shall I create you a custom listing? But I don't do the samples anymore. I tell people, once you've ordered, I'll just send you the sample. And then it's a free sample. Then they don't have to pay for it, like as before they had to pay for it. I'm happy to cover the shipping costs. If like recently I just had to tell somebody, it was crazy. She had a whole story. It was a whole sad story. And I was like, this has nothing to do with me. I'm like, this is not my story. Like, I am sorry. Like, I can't pay for your wedding, and I'm a business, not a church. So then she starts going back with like this, I believe in karma and all this crazy stuff. And I was like, oh, this is getting absurd. So I just like refunded her sample. I just told her, and then she sent me like this super long thing. I didn't even read it all. It was just like, whoa. And at the very end of it, it was like, can't you just create the listing so I can buy it already? And I was like, no, never. I was like, no way. Like, you're going to leave me a nasty review. I can't see how it can possibly make you happy. So I just said, I didn't know how to tell her, like the first person I had to tell, like, I don't want you, you can't block anymore on Etsy. So I just said, I'm invoking Etsy's harassment policy, and I've given you your refund, and on your merry way. And I was the whole time thinking, aren't you buying a wedding veil? Where's your fiance?
That's
so,
right.
But then so then I went on Etsy sellers, and I didn't post her name or anything. And I was like, man, because I've been like digging my well with the Etsy groups on Facebook, just kind of digging my well with them, just kind of like letting them know who I am. That way, when I offer the etsycafe.com, I'm just like going in, like spamming, like, hey, I have this thing, buy it from me. So I'm just going in there and trying to help all the Etsy sellers in there, like these fave-a-thons that they're doing. When will they stop? I'm like, they won't listen. No. And then, I'm like, please don't go on my shop and do this. You're like really upsetting me. Don't do this. And I try to explain to them what happens, like in the most simple terms, but people are just like, ah. So it's like I go on there and I just kind of shared it, this is what's going on. And like, man, crazy. Has anybody ever ran into this before? And like 2 people knew exactly who she was. They knew her story. She had some crazy story about her kid's dad getting murdered in front of them and her quitting her $40 an hour job to do her 10. So it was like a really specific story that she has probably copy pasting to people. And so people actually knew who she was. And I was like, whoa. So I didn't even turn her in. Somebody else would turn her in. But they were like, they turned her into Etsy abuse and stuff like that. I was like, well, I did the right thing. Because I was going to get 2 reviews. I was like, one's bad enough. Yeah. And she hasn't left the review yet, but like in 4 or 5 days or so, Etsy's going to send that email that says, hey, you have an item to review. And that'll be, whether or not it happens. But I just refunded, and I was like, man, hopefully I get out of this one,
Yeah.
But that's the risk you run when you sell inexpensive items.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I have to get out of doing it. That's why I have to. And then also when you sell things really cheap, people who pay attention. That's all there is to it, Like if it's a gift and it's for somebody and they don't, they're just like checking out because they don't care. Like there's people that put the wrong wedding dates on their orders, for me. And it's like, you didn't pay attention. If you paid $500 for this wedding veil, I bet that date would have been right though,
Yeah.
It's like that, if I was paying $500 for my wedding veil, I would have made sure that the date was right, especially if someone doesn't offer refunds. So, and I just opened up my refunds again. That's why I'm going through all this madness with the DUIs and stuff. Because, you can't sell to the UK, to the EU at all if you don't offer refunds.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know that for a long time. I just thought, oh, wow, like a lot of my UK sales died off. And I haven't sold in there in a long time. And then when I was doing I turned all of the house rules, Etsy house rules, into Audible PDF files so people can come into my lounge area and just listen to the rules and not have to read them. And so I was listening to them and I was like, oh my God, I'd have to fix that. So I went in and fixed the returns. But so I didn't accept returns for a long time because of my industry is bridal. So it was like a lot of people don't do refunds with the bridal industry, especially since everything's handmade and I sell it for so inexpensive. But it was worth it to me to raise my prices for a short period of time. I raised my prices and then made my processing time shorter. And I did make more sales and I did get a higher quality of customer. I mean, it was a big difference.
Gotcha.
It was a really big difference.
Gotcha.
I'm just running a ton of sales right now. Just trying all kinds of different things. Like I said, my shop is just like on crack right now. And I don't even have everything done to it that I could possibly do. But the YouTube has been really good. So I would recommend anybody who has an Etsy channel, just do quick YouTube videos, just really quick. And you just post them. And then if you monetize, like I have my YouTube monetized, I get paid for the ads on my YouTube because it's monetized. So I'm actually getting paid for my leads. So that's good too.
Yeah, the tip you had earlier too about using YouTube to create kind of like the photo slideshow and then using that on your about page, since Etsy gives people a chance to get videos up there too. That's a good tip for someone who might want to have a video there, doesn't really have a whole lot of time to do video editing or a nice video camera to do stuff with, but you could put together a nice slideshow and set it to music like you were talking about.
And I do everything from my iPhone. So I edit on there and I actually go, even though I've been on Etsy for a long time, when Etsy sends out like a seller success or Etsy success email, I read it. I read all of them. If I don't have time to read them, I copy paste them and I put them in a text-to-speech service on the internet. And I just copy it in there, and I just listen to it while I work, while I sew. I just listen to it, and I get a lot of ideas because I mean they're the ones making all the changes.
Sure. Yeah.
Clever.
Well, Toni, that's awesome. You took us through a whole bunch of different things. We covered a lot of different areas here.
Yeah. So if people want to follow me on Facebook or join the group, I will be in there for like the next month, just helping people for free. Just talking to people, just taking questions. I'm going to post some surveys and then answer those survey questions. And then locally here in town, like I said, I'm doing the live seminars, and then I'm doing some of the boutiques that do vintage stuff. I'm going to teach them how to sell it on Etsy, and we're going to do some like live seminars, which I will record, and then those will be posted onto Facebook, so people will be able to tune in for that stuff too. And so I'm excited. It's a whole new chapter for me. It's scary. It's scary, but Mel Robbins says that like excitement and fear is the exact same chemical and like enzymatic reaction in your body. It's just that your brain is telling you that you're afraid. So if you can just like switch that over into excitement, I'm on the right track. So thank you so much for having me, you guys. It was awesome. Talking to you guys. You guys saved my business. I just want you to know what you guys are doing is changing the world. I'm not saying that cliche. I'm serious, because I really think that the problem we have with the society in our world, in this country, is that somewhere along the line, this feminist movement went haywire, and I don't know what's going on. It's like, I just like women have this crazy idea. And so it's like, I'm so happy to see like where women have, and it's for men too, totally, but 80% of people on Etsy are women. So it's amazing to me. I know single dads that I'm helping too, but just like parents to get off of the hamster wheel and go home. You can make your own hamster wheel, and you can dazzle it, and you can like have a good time on your hamster wheel. It doesn't even have to be like what you were told, And so it's so exciting, because for me, it's like I feel like kids nowadays don't feel that like the way like we grew up feeling with our parents. It's just so different, and everything's different. And so if parents can be home and not be stressed out all the time about money and work and clocking in and doing the 9-to-5 thing or just struggling, not being able to do anything, or like welfare, or like whatever it is, that there's a way out, that there's another opportunity. There's you don't have to do what people were doing 10 years ago. It's just different. Like our career counselors in college and high school, there's no way they could have prepared us for the opportunities that we have now. And so I really feel like what we're doing and what you guys are doing, especially, it's just going to change the world, because it's giving, like I was getting ready to give up on Etsy when I found Marmalade. I was going to get up on my dream. And so I was, I had gotten the boutique. Getting to my boutique was almost like, it was like exciting, but it was a huge like knife. I was like, man, this is like almost me giving up, but I didn't. I'm not the person that gives up very easy. So I kept at it, and I found you guys, but it saved it. It just saved my dream. It saved the dream that I have for the future. And then, just be able to show people everything that I learned, and then be like, you don't have to shoot in the dark like I did. Now you have Marmalade, you don't have to, like I used to just like, and then like 2 days, a week later, and find out, did Google index it? Is it working? No. Oh my God, a whole week has passed, And then that too, that like people on Etsy need to know is that when you're doing the Marmalade thing, and you may see like a 24-hour increase in traffic and sales. Like sometimes you will, depending on how it's indexing, but it takes like a week for Google to see that you've made all these changes, and then to go out and find your customers and then bring them and make the connection between the two of you. So when people get on Marmalade and they make all the changes, don't make all the changes at once, of course, try it like 5 or 7 listens at a time or whatever you can. But when you start to make those changes, just to be patient, because I was getting really impatient. My web guy was like, no, don't get impatient, because this is going to take time. And he explained it to me, and I was like, oh, okay. And so that made me feel a lot better. And it was like clockwork. It was like 5 to 7 days. It was just my revenue doubled, and then it tripled, and now it's going 4 times. Wow, so awesome. Every morning, this morning I woke up, I made like $500 before I woke up. I mean, I'm so grateful to you guys. So I hope that I can send tons and tons of entrepreneur level customers, because all of my people are paying to get in. So it's basically all of our same type of demographic. So I'm just, and I felt so much more at ease, like being able to offer this, you know, to say, this is what you need to go sign up for, because it just, well, having people sign up for what you guys are doing is going to save me a bunch of time, because I'm not going to have to do it for them, you know? So it's like, and they're going to be able to do it. So all I'm kind of doing is I do a quick tutorial video where I just show them, like, this is my shop, and this is in Marmalade. This is how it looks. And if you're serious, don't waste any time. Just sign up. Like I said, it took me 2 minutes to pull my credit card out. And I was just like, I think my husband was on his way home from work. So by the time he got off of work and walked to the front door, I was like hanging from the rafters. I was so excited, you know? Like, this is it. And like, first he looked at it, and I'm trying to tell him, then he came in and sat down, and he was blown away. He was like, oh, wow. Because he has an Etsy store too. So he was blown away. So excited. And the opportunities, like I said, the opportunities are just, I feel like they're endless. And I feel like what you guys have done and what I'm trying to do is going to make the world a better place.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That's really nice. That means a lot to us. It's true what you say too about how, you know, when you're back in like high school and college and everything, and you take those like tests that supposedly tell you what you should be. It's like business owner or like Etsy seller. Pretty sure those don't show up on anything, you know?
Mine was like Forest Ranger.
Nice. There you go.
Forest Ranger. Yeah, no, I'm like allergic to Christmas trees and stuff, you know, like I live like Visalia is the gateway to the Sequoias. So I live like where I live in my hotel, like busloads of people come in from Germany. Where my shop is to go to visit General Sherman, these gigantic trees and stuff like that. Like I've been there a handful of times in my whole life, and it usually was to go up with someone else who wanted to see the big trees. Like my husband's really into trees, so he's like, we never go. There's a cave made out of crystal cave, you know. He's like, why don't we go to Crystal Cave or something? I'm like, cool, yeah, buy the tickets. And then, you know, I'm like, oh, it's hot, or it's like, you know, like, oh, but you know, yeah, I got to get up there more. It's crazy. We live like 20 minutes from the lake and stuff. It's just like, but we never leave. It's like this little valley. Whenever I leave, I go to the beach in LA, and then I come back, you know. But
well, now you've got one more reason to drive farther north.
I know, yeah. Well, my husband's gonna wring my neck, because now having more time on my hands with my daughter being gone, there's not gonna be any excuses. So he's gonna want to visit his big trees. So yeah. Yeah. So very exciting, and I'm really excited. I just know that I'm excited for moms and dads to have this opportunity. It's just different. I'm really excited. Artists, and I know a lot of artists, you know, so. And then music, because since I do the music thing, I'm starting to get a lot of music people to start doing their music on Etsy, because there's a music scene on Etsy. Yeah, so I'm really cool about that. I'm really excited about that. It's very cool. So yeah, anytime you guys want to chat, when there's like new things going on, or you need a guest, just hit me up. Let me know.
Yeah,
sounds good.
Yeah, I'm always excited. Yeah,
we do have repeats, so.
Yeah, and there's going to be like a lot of new changes coming out, and I guess we're all going to be like tinkering around and learning and stuff like that. So I'm really excited. So yeah, so I'm super long-winded, in case you haven't noticed. I'm used to talker. So anyways. Anyways, yeah. So I want guys, and then we'll email back and forth too about the membership for the people coming in, and whenever you guys need a member, or I might get a hold of you guys if I have something I want to talk about, or like whatever. If you guys have time, I'm down for
absolutely
all these Etsy jams.
Yeah, we'll jam it.
Yeah, I'm down for these jams, music jams, Marmalade jams. I'm down for it.
There you go.
Well, you can bring an instrument.
I can bring my guitar. Maybe I can write a Marmalade song. I can write a little ditty for you. Yeah, I'll be back at the Viper Room next month too.
Nice.
I'm gonna actually not doing music. I'm actually gonna host just a quick a commercial thing for Etsy, cafe.com and Etsy, just about how I was able to get on stage at the Viper Room, working 1 day a week from home and stuff like that. So the Viper Room has allowed me to come back and that. So that's really interesting.
Nice.
So I'm really excited. Yeah. So cool. Well, thank you so much. And I know it's late there, so I'll let you guys go. And like I said, just keep in touch, and I'm like, I mean, I cannot say thank you enough. If my husband was here, he would just be like, man, you don't even know this lady. Like, yeah, I'm like really happy most of the time, but I was really crazy there for a minute. So I was just like, can't figure it out. Yeah. So thank you so much, you guys. And yeah, all the amazing success and many blessings and peace, love, and
Thanks,
all
Toni.
that stuff to you guys. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You too.
Yeah, I think it was awesome. And I can't wait to see you guys again.
Absolutely.
All right. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Many Etsy sales to you.
Thanks. You too.
All right. All right. You guys have a good one.
All right. You too.
All right,
Take
thank
care.
you.
Thank
We
you.
will
You
see
too.
everyone else next time on Etsy Jam.
Bye, guys. Thank you, everyone.